Hi, everybody. This is Lori from GLP1 Journey in Review. Sorry about the no notice. I was going to go to the gym today, but my foot's hurting, so I decided I'll give it a little bit of a rest. So, impromptu live. If any of you want to ask me any questions, you can put it in the comments. And I'll be explaining later that I have some crazy idea about how to run this live. So if any of you want to ask me any of the questions, who knows, I might put you up on the stage and we could actually talk about it. Haven't decided if I'm going to do that. I don't know how receptive people are to that idea, but again, it's going to be partially Q&A and I want to talk about maintenance. Again, for me, maintenance has been the hardest part because there's no guidelines really. People are just figuring this out because people are just coming to the point in their journey that they've reached their weight, and it's fairly new. I mean, you know, medications aren't that old, so people are trying to figure out their maintenance. Do they stay on the same dose, adjust their calories, maybe not work out so much? Do they lower their dose? Do they try it that way? Do they extend their shot period? Some people have even changed from tirzepatide to semaglutide. I don't have all the answers, and I know everybody's journey is different. So we're going to have to figure this one all out together. And there's going to be some trials and errors, and you never know um, what's going to work, and what works for you may not work for somebody else. We've learned this from our journeys that you really shouldn't compare your journey to somebody else's, although you can learn something from their journey, and some things from their journey may work for you, and sometimes they don't. So it's a lot of trial and error. I know that the companies are now doing the trials now for maintenance. Again, I don't know how hard this is going to be. Uh, Again, if you want to ask any questions, put it in the comments. I just recently went on vacation and it was only for 3 nights, 4 days. I gained 2 pounds. I wasn't eating properly. Here we go. We have I'm gonna say your name wrong, I'm sorry. Arjani. Again, I'm trying something different here. If you have a question and you would actually like to come onto this stage, I'll post you the link and we could actually talk about it face to face. Up to you if you don't want to do it. But again, good morning. Thanks for joining us. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help. So anyhow, I was on vacation and I went to Orlando. It was actually the downsized meet and greet. And one of my favorite restaurants, at least in South or at least in Florida, for um, getting Chicago pizza is in Orlando. So I couldn't pass that up. I had to have it. I did not eat as much as I usually do. I did notice it was very salty, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I did have a little bit of ice cream, and on the breakfast buffet, I did have a waffle. Those were pretty much my bad things. So, I did gain 2 pounds. I'm down 1.5 pounds. I knew since it was so quickly coming on, it would be pretty quickly coming off because you just can't eat that many calories in a couple days. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you would like to do the questions face to face, I'll pop you the link in the comments. I just want to try something different. I don't know how this works, how this will work, rather. I know how it works. I just don't know how it will work. Um, so good morning again. I apologize for the impromptu live. I was really getting ready to go to the gym and I'm like, yeah, my foot's kind of hurting me a little bit. Maybe I should skip it or see how it is later. So that's where I am. So again, maintenance has been really difficult for me. So what I did was was on 7.5. I'm sorry, I was on 10. I lowered it to 7.5. That was fine. And I figured, well, let me try 5. 5, the food noise came back, not terribly, but it came back enough to bother me. And I went back up to 7.5. And I pretty much stayed there. Now, on my first vacation, which was a longer vacation, and I did gain like 5 pounds, I kind of went up to somewhere between 8 and 9 because I have compound, so I could really adjust my dose to help get the weight off. And then I went back down to the 7.5. I've been considering uh, two trains of thought. I've been considering extending my dose, but like I am just so used to Saturday morning waking up and that's my shot day. I don't know if I really want to have a different shot day every single week. It may be a little bit harder for me to remember, may not, but I don't have side effects, so that really shouldn't matter too much. But I don't know. I just like Saturday shot day. So then I was thinking slowly titrating down between 7.5 and 5. Again, that's one of the good things about compound is that you could do this. So, there's a train of thought. I'm kind of on the fence on that. Let me know in the comments what you think or what you would do for maintenance. Again, this could really help. It'll help me. You people might not be in maintenance, but I'm sure you're hearing a lot about maintenance and figure, you're gonna be in maintenance at some point. So consider us your guinea pigs, your rat labs, whatever you want to call us, because we're the people trying it now because we're on maintenance now. Um, I have discussed this with my healthcare provider, and he's, pretty much open to anything as long as I don't do something, really stupid, like, pop up to 15 or something really, which I wouldn't do because that is kind of a stupid thing to do. So I'm at that dilemma. And as far as eating, that's one of the reasons why I dropped down because, 7.5 I was losing slowly, and granted, I was losing slowly because I didn't have much to lose. I was coming near maintenance, so yes, it came off, slower. And I figured if I kind of continue everything as is, will I still slowly be losing weight? Which I have kind of found because, like, I jumped between my goal weight, which was 118, and I've gotten as low as 114. Not really trying anything, just kind of like eating the same. And as far as do I add more calories in, I'm not really hungry for one thing, which is why I thought maybe I'll go down in dose. But if I'm gonna add calories in, I don't want them, useless, bad calories. So one of the things that I've done was I've kind of added a Profi um, to my regular things of food. So late in the afternoon, I will have a Profi. How much weight have I lost? And how long have I been on the journey? I started not this last December, but the December before. I've lost 60 pounds total. And in January of this year, I started my maintenance, and I've been maintaining. So, Harjani, do you have any interest in hopping on the stage here and we could actually talk this person to person? Let me know in the chat if you have any interest in doing this, because like I said, I'm trying new things, seeing how things work. Uh, Thank you for telling me that I look great. Again, like I said, if you actually want to come on the stage, let me know. You can do this from your cell phone. I'll just pop the link in. If you don't, that's okay. No pressure. So I've been having Profi. Now I've been changing it. Sometimes if I know that I'm getting enough protein, I'll just use some protein milk and coffee. Not today, that's fine. Um, and I found, oh, I wish I really would have brought it in here. I found that skinny syrups, brown sugar, cinnamon, 0 calorie. Splash of that in there makes kind of taste like the shaken espresso from Starbucks, the big Starbucks thing. S So sometimes I'll have that with milk, the protein milk, and sometimes I'll actually have it with the protein shake. There's a difference of about 120 calories between the 2, but like I said, I'm in maintenance, so again, the, protein shake does make me even a little bit more full, so those are some of the factors that I think about when I'm adding it. So I'm either adding somewhere about 75 calories, 7,500 calories to 250 calories just by having my Profi shake. Um, that's one way that I'm adding calories. I don't wanna add too many calories too quickly, so that's how I'm handling to put this comment. I started drinking Profis as well. It's been a few months. Me too. Like I said, I find that those skinny syrups, no calories, make it taste just a little bit better, especially if you're just having it with milk. You really don't need any sweetener or anything like that. And I have been putting either liquid condensed espresso, I think Nescafe makes it, or a powdered pack of the espresso. I've been putting that in it. So it's basically either I think it's 2 tablespoons or 3 tablespoons as a serving if I use the liquid, or 1 pack of the espresso, then the protein milk or protein shake, add some ice, shake, 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 and I have my iced Profi. That's the way I've been making it. Uh, as far as adding other foods, like I said, I don't wanna add junk. I've tried adding a little bit more fruit, and that seems to help. Not a lot of calories though. It does help with the fiber, so that takes care of some pooping problems. I want to say when I came back from Orlando, I had the first time ever that I really had some constipation, and I'm not going to say it was total constipation. Well, actually, it's the second time. Um, it was very hard poop, and I don't think I pooped enough, but I still was pooping. Now, I know I wasn't drinking enough water when I went away. I just know it, so I'm sure that was part of it. I did change the way that I ate for 3 days. I think that was part of it. I'm now back to normal. One of the things that I did was the red dragon fruit, a nice slice of that at night seemed to help. Back to normal after, like, 2 days, 3 days, so, um, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, let's see here who we have here. Hi, Tommy. How you doing? Again, I'm trying something a little bit different in the live. If you have any questions or if you just want to say something, put it in the chat and I'll pop you up on stage and we could actually do a little bit of a talk and then I'll take you off stage whenever you want. No pressure. You don't have to do it. I'm just open to trying new things. I've never really seen that being done, so I figured why not? Let's try it. But good morning. Thanks for joining me. I know this is an impromptu live, so may not be a lot of people. Uh, right now, I think there's 4 of us in here. Again, most people watch my replays anyhow, so uh, doesn't seem like any of you really want to pop on stage, and that's okay. I'm going to keep mentioning it on here. Again, no pressure. Um, so are any of you people on maintenance and how are you handling it? Um, that's been a number one question that I've had is how are you handling maintenance? I know some people have gone to a less expensive medication. For example, if you're on the trizepatide, some people have switched to Wegovy, a lower dose. 'Cause it's a little bit less expensive. There's some new medications, like the orforglipron on the horizon, which may be a perfect answer, so we'll have to wait and see. You've added, Rise mushroom coffee to your daily regimen. I've been using the bathroom daily since twice a day. Good tip, I didn't know about that. I'll have to look into that. Again, thanks for the tips. I learn as much from these lives and these channels as you people. So again, I want to thank you for all of your help and all of your suggestions and so forth, because it, again, if I haven't heard about it, I'm sure a lot of people haven't heard about it. So, it's a really, good learning experience for all of us. Tommy, I have about 10 pounds to lose, close to maintenance. I intend to stay on Zepbound. I plan on staying on it also. Um, right now, it probably will be Zepbound. It may change when the orforglipron comes out. I don't know. I may give that a try, and then, if that doesn't work, I could always switch back to it. Now I use compound, so it's fairly easy to switch back to. I've actually talked to the people at Mochi, and they would have no problem prescribing it because I've been with them for years, and I should know within the month if it's working or not. So let's see what else people are saying. You've been on Zepbound since uh, January 2025, but I started on Monjero back in November 2022. You lost 96 pounds and got off the shot and gained all the weight back. That could happen. Fast forward, I've lost 54 pounds. I know that personally, if I came off of it for whatever reason, once I started gaining like 15 pounds, if I couldn't stop it naturally at that point, that would be the point that I would consider going back on the medication, all things, whether I could afford it, all things, staying the same. That would just be my little clue thing as to how to do it. Basically I would give it like 4 to 6 weeks, remembering I like to work out, but I know you cannot outwork a bad diet. So that's just how I would handle it. Yes, 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 Tammy, definitely. I plan on staying on Zepbound as well. Again, remember there's certain factors. There's going to be new medications coming out. Like I said, the orforglipron, a daily pill, um, may be a really good thing for maintenance. It's not quite as powerful as tirzepatide or semaglutide, but remember we're on maintenance. We just need something to maintain. And the fact that you take a daily just might give you that kind of even appetite suppression and, you know, control the urges where like I know usually since I take my shot on Saturday, Friday, I tend to be a little bit hungrier. Fortunately for me, Friday is my busiest day at work, so sometimes I go, I think maybe I'm a little bit hungry, and it could be 2 hours before I get a break to even think about food again. So, that kind of works out in my favor. So, there's again, we don't know what the new medications are. Um, I have an interview that's coming out in a week or two with this guy, Zach, who actually went off of it on his own, maintained the weight perfectly for 6 months, and then went to his cardiologist. And his cardiologist, due to the fact that there's heart problems in him and his family, want him to be on a low dose of Wegovy. Uh, probably forever, I don't know. He didn't really say, but he wanted him to stay on the medication. So, I'll have to ask him how that's working. Now, he actually lost his weight on Ozempic, and now he's on Wegovy because he's, reached his weight. I don't quite understand why they did it that way, but I always thought Wegovy was for weight loss, but he says that he could tell a slight difference between Wegovy and Ozempic. I don't know if that's true with any of you. You can let me know in the comments. I know that I have tried Monjero. I haven't actually tried Zepbound. That might be something I need to do in the future to see if there's a difference, but I found absolutely no difference between Monjero and Compound. That's just me. Again, you know, that there may be a slight difference, and it could be what they add to it. I don't know. Could it be a psychological thing? I don't know. I'm not, that's not my expertise, but let me know. Let's see what people are saying here. Sounds like a good plan. Let's see, I believe that. Okay. I'm assuming yeah, the difference between Mounjaro and Zepbound. Uh, Everything that I read, it's the exact same drug, just a different label, and its usage is different. One's for diabetes, and um, one is for weight loss. But again, I never really looked that closely. I don't know what the other little ingredients are. To you, of course. Like I said, everybody is a little bit different. Um, and sorry, I just got a little notice that today is my wife's birthday, which I kind of knew, but for a second there I did forget. So glad that I got that little notice so that when she wakes up in a little bit, I could go say happy birthday. Five of you here, please put your questions in the comments. And again, if any of you want to join me on stage and actually talk about something, just put it in the comments. I'll pop the link there and we could actually talk to each other if you're interested. Again, no pressure. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help me continue to do content like this. Let's see. Interesting. I thought they were the same. I thought they were the same too, but like I said, I have never tried Zepbound. I have tried Mounjaro and I have tried Compound from a couple different pharmacies and really haven't noticed any difference between them, but I only stick to the major ones. Um, as far as telehealth, I won't even go into the first one because that was absolutely awful. I tried, I think it's called Care Plus, which uses Red Rock. Um, My problem with them is every time you wanted a refill, you have to actually have a doctor's appointment, which medically sounds great, but you know, when I'm free and they're free, it could sometimes take a couple days. And I don't know if they even have that policy because that was almost 2 years ago. And again, I switched to Mochi. They also use Red Rock. They've also used other pharmacies, and throughout their pharmacies, I hadn't noticed a difference. So you know, that's that. As a matter of fact, uh, I'm waiting probably Monday or Tuesday. I just ordered from Mochi NAD, which is an injection, which is supposed to help clarity a little bit. They say aging. I don't know about that, but it's energy. So I figured I'll try it. I think it was like $119, something like that for the month. Um, and I've gotten recommendations from people, oh, just use half the dose so that like, see how it is. And people have been, getting good results with it, just the half dose. So that will last me 2 months. So I figured I'll try it for that, see how it is. Again, it's I actually posted a story on my personal page, which is Lori Eisman from Facebook, and also on Insta of this little cat, and I do cat scans for my main job, and it's this little cat walking up, probably like, oh, I'm gonna go get my patient. This is me walking up to go get my patient, and then 2 seconds later, you see him walking back to the room. This is me walking back to the room because I forgot the name of my patient. And that kind of shit happens to me once in a while. So I'm hoping it helps. And like I go off on these tangents, especially on these lives and stuff like that. I'm hoping that helps with that. Uh, Allie from Fit Flavor Fun tried it, and I was watching her video, and she swears by it. So hey, give it a try for a month, see how it is. So let me go back to here. Uh, I'm glad I got the birthday notes. I would have remembered. It's been too long not to notice. So thank you. For me, Manjaro, the GIP worked much better. I wanted to eat healthier foods. Zepbound uh, doesn't want anything but meat. I never really heard that, but I'll look into that. Again, I thought the Zepbound was the GIP and the GLP. I could be wrong. Like I said, I just, from what I've heard and what I've assumed, I've never really looked into the differences. Now, let's pop this up on ChatGPT. Let's see what they say. Uh, is there a difference between Monjero and Zepbound? Both are made by Lilly, both are tirzepatide. Tirzepatide is the drug, the active ingredient. Mounjaro is the brand name of tirzepatide when it's used for type 2 diabetes. Zepbound is the brand name for the same chemical when tirzepatide for weight management and also for sleep apnea. What's the same? The tirzepatide. They both work by activating GLP-1 receptors and GIP receptors. This leads to slower digestion, et cetera, et cetera. So I can't say ChatGPT is 100% right, but that's basically what they're saying. So happy birthday to my wife. Happy birthday, Carol. She'll be watching the replay, so she'll be happy to see all this. She's sleeping now. It's because, like I said, it's pretty impromptu because um, she tends to sleep late. So there's 10 of you now. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Yes, I think Allie's wife decided to try it too after Allie's results. Yes. And that was the deciding video. Now, I've seen other videos, and I actually talked to Dr. Dan about this. And he's saying that people say that they get great results, but right now the science is just too new and there isn't quite enough of it to prove this. But, they're working on it. Happy birthday, Carol. Again, she'll appreciate it. So it's kind of weird because, I saw the ad, um, and they now carry it. So I went onto their site and they're like, "Do you want to try it?" Da, 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 da. And they're like, "Okay, we'll contact your provider." And I thought maybe, we would have to have a televisit. Your provider okayed it. And it's in the farm. Well, I got an email that said it was shipped, but if I go to their site, it says that it's in the pharmacy. So I'm kind of expecting it maybe Tuesday-ish or Wednesday, because it's usually, pretty close to that. Uh, but like, I know it's injectable, but I have no idea how to inject it. So I'm gonna have to YouTube it. Maybe I'll contact Allie and ask her. Although I didn't use Allie's site because I don't know. When I went to the site that's on Allie's link, it was kind of like I think a nasal spray and liquid. I'm sure if I would have gone further or had the actual doctor's visit, which I wasn't opposed to, probably could have gotten into the injectable part of it. But it was the same price, and I figured, I already have mochi, so we'll see. If I have to, like, I'll contact Mochi. The providers are pretty good about uh, getting in contact with you. Love Dr. Dan. I love Dr. Dan too. As a matter of fact, him and I have another project coming up. It was actually supposed to be Wednesday, but he had to substitute for somebody in his clinic, and I think we pushed it off for another week or so. Uh, so look forward to seeing that and doing that. Yes, they are the same, but I just experienced different results. I also tried Wegovy. I did not lose any weight. Okay, well, it, maybe it's the inert ingredients or whatever else they have in it. I don't know. I've heard that several times, so there has to be a little bit of truth to it. Could it matter where you injected? Lots of things, could play part of that. So, um, it's funny, my cousin just started, about a week ago. I think Monday or Tuesday will be a week. She tried her Wegovy, and she didn't notice really much of anything. She said, "Maybe my appetite's just a little bit smaller, but, nothing really, no side effects," which is good. I think you probably have to give it a couple of weeks. Uh, I told her, "Try it, keep an open mind, keep, we'll keep in touch. And if, by week 3 you haven't noticed anything, you could mention to them, when you go to do your refill that you'd like the other medication and go from there. I mean, you know, that's the one thing I like about these telehealth. It's very easy to change your medications. Um, up to her provider whether they talked enough where they could do this without another visit. You know, that's again, like I said, between uh, them. So again, that's my opinion on this. I'm actually kind of looking forward to the orforglipron because, like I said, Friday tends to be a little bit of a hungry day. I've never really had too much of a problem. I think if there's a day that I've had like little chips or something like that, it's usually like on a Friday. Mind you, I'm making better choices. I use the Quest protein chips. Um, did they taste as good as some of them? In my opinion, there's some that are pretty good. Are they as good? No, but at least they're healthier. Are they edible? Definitely. You know, did they kind of take the uh, chip craving away? Definitely. So that's a win. Let's see. I was trying to think. Oh, I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone yesterday, and she was asking me because she needs to get more protein. Even her doctor says, you know, again, and mainly it's budget reasons why she has to get the protein because she's barely scraping by on what she gets from Social Security and having medical problems. And, you know, due to eyesight, she can't really drive anymore. So she pays a lot of money in Ubers and has to kind of like stop seeing some of her doctors at some point, not because of the doctors, because she, you know, she's got the Medicare and she has some financial aid to help her with that. It's the Ubering back and forth. And anyhow, she's like, she said that she was in her grocery store and she saw some of these chips and she wanted to ask me which I thought were the best. And I'm like, you know, it depends on what you like. I would personally, I told her I would try with Quest because they're the biggest brand. But she's like, you know, those are like $4 for an individual bag. And it feels like there's like five, six chips in them. Yeah, I can't, you know, I don't do the pricing. So, you know, you asked me my opinion, I gave it to you. I told her if you really need protein, the easiest way, buy a bunch of chicken when it goes on sale and, you know, easy to cook it up. I think I last year for her birthday, I got her an air fryer. You could just fry it up with some seasoning, you know, on a grill pan or a saute pan. Pretty simple and get your protein. Oh, I don't cook. Uh, okay, well, you know, hamburger, you know, like I know you toast things and stuff like that. You know, they make protein waffles, protein pancakes that you could buy at the grocery store. Oh, but those are too expensive. Kind of like stop there because you know if there's no answer, why keep arguing? Uh, when is your injection day, Lori? Friday is close to shot day. I take it Saturday morning when I wake up. Now I usually wake up about 3:30 in the morning because I have to usually be at work at like 5, anywhere from 5 to 6. Usually it's 6 because it's a little bit later on Saturday, but I try to get a little bit of YouTube work done before I go to work. So usually as soon as I kind of wake up, I'm making my coffee, getting my shot ready, and so forth. Good morning, Lori. I hope all is well. Happy birthday to Carol. Calamity Jane, like I've been saying, I'm trying something different on this live. If anybody wants to like hop up and actually talk uh, and be on stage with me, I just put the link in there. Uh, you won't click it and pop up on stage. You come in the background, and I have to actually invite you on stage. And like, if you have a question, and you know, rather than go back and forth and then typing and stuff like that, I could pop you on here for a minute, and then you know, as soon as you're done, remove you, whatever. Or if you want to stay with me on the live, that's fine too. Like I said, I'm just trying new things because I've never really seen something like that done. So I figured, hey, why not try it? You know, there's 11 of you out there, so, you know, maybe somebody who wants to be brave and maybe somebody wants to do that. Here's my link in the chat. So, like I said, if any of you guys are saying hi to each other, So, are any of you on maintenance, close to maintenance? I know I talked to a couple of you already that are. Uh, are you gonna stay on your highest dose? I know, again, just last weekend, I was talking to Christopher from the Downsize about this. He's staying on his 15 and that's it. So, like, how do you not continue to lose? Well, he's adding a little bit more carbs in, which I've tried to add a little bit more carbs in. I try to do it more when I'm at work because my wife still isn't at the point, and I think adding more carbs, if she sees them, she's going to want them. And she's still in the weight loss, and I just don't want to do it in front of her. That's just me. I have enough respect for her to do that, and it's just as easy for me to do it while I'm at work. For example, a couple of weeks ago at work, for some reason, and again, I'm really not a breakfast person, but for some reason in the morning, I was really hungry, and one of my coworkers said, "I'm going to the bagel joint. Do you want one?" I'm like, "Yeah, get me a whole wheat bagel with a smear of cream cheese." So yeah, I had it because again, no food is off limits. Moderation. It was probably the first bagel that I've had in 8 months or so. Even when I had ice cream on vacation, I really only have it while I go on vacation. And we get some like long weekends, maybe like 4 to 5 a year, and two longer vacations. Don't do it every quickie vacation, but sometimes, we'll split a little ice cream. Sometimes we'll get a little, was it a quart pint? Sometimes I'll even get the single sizes of the Haagen-Dazs. But, I'm not gonna never have ice cream because that's just not realistic. Tommy says, "I'm starting to come down on dose. Was on 15 for a month, couldn't eat, but my stall broke." Well, that's good. The highest I ever got was 12.5, and I was literally forcing myself to eat. And after like a week of that, I'm like, I don't think this is really good. And it was like I wasn't feeling too good, like forcing myself to eat, kind of like just I would take 2, 3 bites, and you know how after Thanksgiving or after Christmas you have that, I'm full feeling. That's how I was on 2, 3 bites. I'm like, I don't think this is right. So I went back down to 10, and I don't know if just that 1 week bump up caused me to all of a sudden start, losing again, and then I kind of went back down to 7.5 because I had very little to lose, and the appetite suppression was great. So I'm like, well, let me see what happens because I know a lot of people said that they lost weight when they first started on their maintenance journey. So I wanted to see how it was, knowing I could always bump back up. And again, the good thing about compounding is you could actually go in between doses, and that seemed to work. And um, I kind of, bumped up just a little bit, lost it, and then went down to 7.5 for my maintenance. Found it pretty good. Then I'm like, can I try 5? Because my files will last me longer, save a little extra money. That can't be bad. Food noise started again. So again, will I try it again? There's a possibility. I've kind of been having really good luck just where I am at the 7.5. Um, Maybe I'll go down to like 6.5, try that for a couple of weeks, who knows? So we'll, have to see. Uh, how did your body do with the bagel? Bread is one of the things I enjoy, but my brain is like, it'll be the only thing you eat if you eat that. So forget it. I love bread though. You know, I felt fine. I felt pretty full, and I ate it slowly because again, I was at work, so it's not like I could sit down and take, 15, 20 minutes to eat it. So I did have a very small lunch that day. I didn't eat the whole lunch that I brought, and I only ate the protein part of the lunch. Didn't gain weight in the next few days or anything, and I am a daily weigher. Uh, Felt fine other than that. Again, like I said, I was pretty full. but I knew I had to eat some protein. I did have my protein shake, which I drank all through the day because I usually have that for breakfast, and I usually drink that between like 10 and I'm three-quarters of the way done with that. By the time lunch comes around, I eat lunch, and then maybe a couple hours after lunch, sometimes, I'm not really hungry, but I know I should finish that protein, and I don't want to get hungry later because I don't eat till a little bit later. I usually don't eat till 7:30 when I'm at work because I don't get off of work till anywhere between 6:30 and 7:15. Fortunately, this place where I usually work is only 10 minutes from my house, and then I have to like get ready to. Usually, I have factor meals because it's so late. So I'm usually not eating dinner to 7:30. So usually 2, 3 o'clock, I'll finish my protein shake, and sometimes that's when I'll have my Profi and so forth. Um, and if I'm finishing my protein drink, I usually make my Profi with protein milk as opposed to a protein shake. Um, this particular day, I had protein milk just because that's what I brought to work with me. I really wasn't counting on the bagel because, again, I usually don't have breakfast. So, anything else in the comments here coming up? Anybody want to be brave enough to come on stage with me for a minute, or just say hi, or then come right off? Up to you. Uh, put the link back in here so it's the last that you see. You don't have to. Like I said, I like to try different things. That's part of the creation game is, trying different things, seeing what works, seeing what sticks. I know a lot of you people are shy. Trust me, I'm a really shy person, and this really took me out of my comfort zone. And people will say, "Now you were shy," and it brought me out of being shy a little bit. I had the same problem when I was like 21 or so. I was like so shy, it was like yeah, enough where it affected my dating and so forth. So like I'm like, let me try bartending because when you're a bartender, you could be anybody you want. It's like, and again, another secret is half these people are half drunk, so it's like not they're gonna remember. So it's like, it's like acting. Like I get to be, something, and it kind of brought me out of my shyness. But there I go, going off track again. A little bit of the ADD, but what the heck. Um, so I love bread too. I've had bread I'm not gonna say all throughout, but maybe like once every usually sometimes like I've gone out to dinner and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna stick, I'm just gonna have, grilled salmon and maybe some vegetables. And a couple of those times that I was at the restaurant, my wife and we split a roll, and that was enough. That got us to um, be satisfied with it. LOL, half drunk. Well, a little bit more than buzz, but not quite, rip-roaring drunk. So anyhow, that, splitting the roll took care of this, satisfied us with the bread. And again, that's probably the GLP-1 medication, in our brain saying, hey, you don't have to eat the whole basket of rolls, half a roll or a small roll or something. That's enough, because again, you can't not go out to dinner ever or not do anything social like that because, that again is a whole nother problem. And, this is, if you want this to be a way of life, you need to be able to go to that restaurant with your friends and how to handle it and what to eat. And, if you should be having that bread, if if you've had a bad week, you don't want to add to it or if you're gonna, I was gonna say if you're gonna have a drink, but sometimes carbs are the best things if you are gonna have a drink. So sometimes it is smart to have a carb if you're gonna have a drink or two, just because these medications, the way they work and the way they slow down digestion, alcohol can hit you differently than um, before the GLP-1 medication. So I always advise people, if this is your first time having a drink or two, maybe you want to do it at home. Maybe you don't want to be the person driving because it does affect people differently. And this comes from somebody who doesn't drink. But, from everything that I've heard, so just a little bit of warning. And again, sometimes the extra carbs, if you're out and going to have a drink or two, may help in the stomach with absorbing the alcohol, and lots of hydration. That also helps if you're having the alcohol. And it helps with these cravings and stuff like that because you have a craving, you drink a glass of water, glass of electrolytes, whatever you normally would do. All of a sudden you might not have the craving because you're full, your stomach's now full from the water, and you may think of things differently, you may act differently. So a little hint with that. I know that my brother, he likes to have his 3 4 martinis at night when he goes out to dinner because he very rarely cooks, or if he does cook, he still has his 3 or 4 martinis when he's on the medication. Some days he has a cocktail, some days he doesn't. He told me he usually has, maybe instead of 3 cocktails a night, maybe 3 cocktails a week. Excuse me, which is one reason why it helps him lose the weight because he doesn't drink as much. And remember, they're doing studies on addiction. Uh, GLP-1 medications are supposed to help people with their addiction problems, drinking, smoking, gambling, and so forth, because it's that little signal to the brain and so forth. And your dopamine and stuff is changing. You may not get that same rush you do from drinking, gambling, smoking, or whatever. So, it does help in that way. So, the future of this, it's it's so big. I mean, they're doing studies, liver disease. I would not be surprised if it's okayed for liver disease um, soon. Now, FDA, how soon is soon? It's the FDA. It's not going to be super soon, but uh, again, they're talking that you have like a 15% less chance of getting Alzheimer's or other types of dementia just from taking this medication. That could be huge. You know, there's just so many possibilities and things that they're doing testing for and so forth to see if it could get approved for this type of thing. Again, we know the FDA works very slow, and hopefully it'll be sped up a little bit. Um, Hopefully there'll be so many more uses that this will be such a common medication that people are using for all sorts of reasons. I know it's still a little bit hard to get, even though it is approved for sleep apnea, still a little bit hard for insurance to get. That's what's holding a lot of things up. So we'll have to see. You know, Accessibility is one of the things that we're fighting for and hoping for. So let me know in the comments what you think it may get approved for, or what you're hoping it'll get approved for. Will all these approvals make it easier to get? These insurance companies are fighting tooth and nail because they just don't want to put out this kind of money, where even though in the long run they're going to save money. Because me, for instance, I was on the road for a definite heart attack. I even have a moderate calcium score risk. If I was to keep going, eating the way I was, with the keeping on the weight, the pre-diabetes and everything, the cholesterol, which was not gonna say normal, but it was right at that edge there where, like one more point and I would have been, out of normal. I was on the road for a heart attack. And let me tell you, getting open heart surgery costs a lot of money. I mean, it could cost up to 400,000 or $500,000, where, if they would put me on this medication, and even though we're seeing these price tags of like $1,000, that's not what the insurance companies, they have a different negotiating price. I work in healthcare, and this happens all the time. Um, they may only be paying $600 or $700, and once the floodgates open and they actually really start negotiating, it will go down even more. So paying that now is still a lot cheaper than the open heart surgery. Uh, One of the things that they're saying is that Most people are not on the same insurance 3, 4 years from now, usually due to job changing. But what they also don't understand is, those on Blue Cross now and those on United Healthcare now, it may switch in 3 years, so they'll still be seeing the gain. So, sorry, I'm missing up on the chat here. The protective factors of these drugs are amazing. They are cardioprotective and may reduce the risk of some cancers. Absolutely, especially cancers that are linked to obesity, like colon cancer, even ovarian cancer, I've been reading, and other cancers. My metabolic markers weren't great either, pre-diabetic. And that's a big thing. I have, this is from Lynn Whitworth. I have chronic kidney disease, fatty liver disease. I feel so much better on a GLP-1. Also, it reduced my blood pressure, but that is through weight loss, which has helped massively. But, let's face it, it's the GLP-1 medication that has helped us lose the weight loss. I had fatty liver disease also, which is now back to normal. So my blood pressure back to normal. I'm no longer on blood pressure medication. So, that's a good thing. And I keep telling the same story. If you're on blood pressure medication, please keep monitoring it, because I didn't realize that as I was losing the weight, my blood pressure was lowering and I was still taking the medication, and I was in a store and I passed out. First thought, oh, I didn't eat breakfast, must be low blood sugar. Then when it happened, or it didn't almost happen a second time, I was at home and I'm like, oh, let me take my blood pressure. And it was like 90/50. So, then I talked to my doctor. He's like, stop taking the blood pressure medication. And that's also where I learned that salt is my friend now that I no longer have high blood pressure, because occasionally I would feel dizzy and it probably was a little bit of my blood pressure. So I drink something, like Element or any of the electrolytes that have some salt, and boof, better right away. Type 2 diabetic. Lynn, again, I don't know if you were here before, but I'm trying something different. If any of you want to hop on the stage and we could chat about something, or if you just want to say hi, I'm putting the link in every so often. Just go ahead and click on it. You don't actually go on the stage till I invite you. No pressure. You don't have to do it. I'm just trying something new because everybody does the same live. I've never really seen anybody bring people on and off the stage, and it seems that people don't really want to come on the stage. I don't blame you, but if open to you, just put it in the comments or just click on the link, and I'll see you down below. That goes for any of you. Um, just let me know. Uh, just a thought out there. So put this back here. Harjarine has chronic kidney disease as well. Now, my wife, they're watching her kidney. She does not have kidney disease, but apparently, one time when I was doing a CAT scan on her because she had some pain, we noticed that one of her kidneys had severe hydronephrosis and was swollen, meaning it was blocked, and the kidney itself was getting bigger. And there was a blockage right where the kidney goes to the ureter, which they said probably was her whole life. It was probably a congenital defect. She did have some surgery on that. She's probably got 10 to 15% of that kidney function back to that kidney. Her other kidney's working fine. So we do have to watch her kidney, and that was one of the reasons why her doctors wanted her to try this medication, because she could actually be prone to having kidney problems. I just want to bring the Hey, Vanity. Hey, Vanity, I'm trying something different here. I'm having, if anybody has a question or a comment, and they want to hop on stage, I'm popping the link into the thing. If you want to hop on for a second, say hi. Uh, just click the link and I'll add you onto the screen for a second. If you want to talk about something. I was actually in the middle of watching your, I think it was a live on Countess of Shopping, very interesting. But then I had to do this. So if you want to hop on, click the link from your cell phone or whatever. Say hi to all your people. If not, no problem, no pressure. I'm just trying something new because I've never really seen anybody try this and see if any of their people want to hop on the stage and say hi or anything. So far, it looks like people are pretty shy and they don't really want to do that. So everybody's saying hi to Vanity. I love Vanity. She has the best lives. She's just so entertaining, and she's just such a fun person. I love her chats. Uh, her interview was probably one of the most fun interviews that I've done because she's just so fun. She's so just easy to talk to and interesting. I just love her chats. So everybody's saying hi to Vanity. Uh, Morning to you, Lori, Terrence, Raquel. Hey, you want to jump on? I know your wife, her interview, I think, is coming out Monday. So, Monday or Thursday. I know it's coming out, I think, next week. I have to look at it. I interviewed Raquel. I know her husband was just starting, Terrence was just starting his GLP-1 journey. I'll have to get an interview with him. Again, if you want to pop on the stage, just click the link. I'll keep putting the link in here so that it's kind of like towards the bottom. Uh, put it in there again. Again, I know people are shy and I know it's, you know, spur of the moment, but sometimes getting out of your comfort zone is a big thing. It's a good thing. It's helped me a lot because it's helped because like I was the most super shy person, and I have this habit of going back to that, which is not the only reason why I started this channel, but it is one of the reasons. And now I have a second channel, just so you guys know. It's called Did You See That Show? Where I talk about some TV shows, review them. I have some up on Grey's Anatomy, some Star Trek, Gilded Age, FBI. These are just kind of like recaps because the new season's coming out soon. I'll put the link in the description, but it's called Did You See That Show? I just literally started it like 5, 6 days ago, so it's not much of a big channel. Oh, that's my link. Uh, Good morning, GLP-1 friends. Happy Sunday. It's a great day to be healthy. Yes, it is. Thanks, Chad. Again, trying something different. If any of you want to hop on and just say hi or have a question or want to debate anything, just go ahead and click on that link. Periodically putting it up here so that it stays to the bottom. 19 pounds, 19 pounds in weeks. A bit shy to jump, but might get stage fright. Well, if you do, I'll take you right down. But again, no pressure. That's totally up to you. Uh, that seems to be kind of the thing. I guess that's why people haven't tried this in the past. But hey, I'm always trying to do new things. Uh, 8 weeks. Wow. I think when I talked to your wife and you hopped on for a second, I think you were on your first or second week. So that's that's pretty good. Again, as you get a little further in your journey, I'll contact you again about possibly doing an interview. 8 weeks on Manjaro, he meant. Okay, that's what I figured. Raquel, you'll have to work on him about doing an interview, but you did a great interview. If you want to pop up on here and say hi to everybody, she did great. And it was nice interviewing somebody that didn't necessarily have a channel. It's like, it's all about weight loss. It's not really just content creators. Saying hi to Chad. So, Raquel, your interview, it comes out. Let me see if I have the date here. Sorry, go on to my time schedule. It comes out tomorrow. Your interview. So, sorry, just trying to get back to it. Just saying, Vanity. I'm kind of like in the middle of your your thing on the Countess. It's a very interesting live. Yeah, but you always uh, people can also be off camera. Yes, they can. Hi, Lori and Chad Keeley. I did a interview on her, which is probably coming out probably the next week. I did a bunch of interviews because I'm going on vacation next week and I wanted to have content. So I apologize that they're coming out a little bit later. And I have two really big interviews coming up, which may push you guys back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Or I might just do a third one in a week because I'm going to be interviewing somebody from The Biggest Loser. And I'm going to be interviewing somebody that does a lot of news. I'll keep names out of it until it happens. Uh, Raquel's going to jump on. Great. Let me put the link back on. Just just click that link and you will appear, and then I'll put you on stage. Uh, oh, I think they're asking her if she's going to. Okay, but I like to put the link up there. Uh, Again, I like to experiment with things. This may not have been the best thing, but uh, sometimes when I have other creators, it may be a little bit better because they're not quite as shy. Um, Again, I don't know how they're dressed or if they're working out or just, but you can do it on your cell phone, just, your face, whatever. It's like I've done videos of myself while I'm working out and I'm a little sweaty, and I've done working out in a sauna. So, I wasn't looking at my best. So, again, I don't know how many of you are close to maintenance, but that's how I'm handling mine. Again, I was this weekend in Orlando, and that's pretty much how Christopher and Lorraine are handling their maintenance. Just, kind of, well, Christopher's 15. I don't think he's ever going to change that. But uh, Lorraine's tried different doses. She's considering changing the date. I don't know if she's considering dose splitting. I've thought about that. I tried that once, and I just think for me, the full effect and having it come down is better. I've heard a lot of people are doing a little bit lower dose and going every 5 days as opposed to 7. There's just so many options there. Just speak with your healthcare provider, because I am not a healthcare provider, never claimed to be. And if it's okay with them, like I said, there's just so many different ways to try it now that you can't even count the ways. So there's 10 of you. No, I don't see you backstage. Let me make sure I have the right link. Is that the same link? 'Cause I don't see you backstage. Maybe I accidentally put up the link to my interview. But this says it's the one to my lives. Let me copy it again. 'Cause I should see you backstage here. Ah, here you are. Hey, Vanity.
Hi, Lori. How are you?
Doing great. So I really like the live that you're doing about Countess shopping. Some interesting stuff. I'm only partway through it.
Oh yeah, I'm actually up early. I'm on Pacific time, so it's early for me. And I caught you live. I'm like, oh, I never catch you live. Um, but yeah, last night was fun. It was interesting. You know what? I don't know if we covered titration speed during our interview, so I don't think I know your views on that. Do you
I just want to
recall?
say I see Raquel down there. Just give me a minute and let me finish with Vanity, uh, or I could pop us all up there. But
Sure.
let me finish.
I think the more the merrier, whatever you prefer.
Okay, so now we're all here. Uh, Raquel, you're here with Vanity and me,
Uh-huh.
and
Oh.
Laurie.
we're kind of talking. Vanity had a live yesterday about the Countess of Shopping, and that she's claiming that she didn't go up quickly enough.
Hmm.
I'll let you explain it better, Vanity, because you were talking about it.
So, from my understanding, for a while, she was suggesting low and slow,
Hmm.
and has recently switched her point of view to she should have titrated up quicker. And I was just breaking down the video to see if I can get an understanding of why her perspective changed. I didn't quite, well, let me not ruin it, but I will say that for the most part, I think that her stance is if you the sooner you titrate up, the more weight you will lose. So I'm not sure if that's true, but that's basically what we were breaking down.
Yeah, I've heard that wasn't true. When I first started on my journey, like she was one of the first influencers that I really started watching her channel because it was one of the bigger channels. And she was, I think, at that point where she lost like, I don't know, 99 pounds. She was calling it 100, but she said it's really like 99.
Mhm.
And here it is, what, a year and 8 months later, and it's 112. So at that point, it became a very slow process. Um, Maybe she was talking about titrate. Well, she already was up at a high dose then. So like I I couldn't figure out why she did that.
Yeah, I didn't quite get an understanding of why she felt she should have gone faster. So that's what I was looking for in the
Hmm.
breakdown, but I guess I'll let you finish watching it so that I
Okay.
don't ruin it. Yeah, but it
All
was
right.
interesting. I made some mistakes of myself, like for myself, like going with a 6 month supply of compound, which was awful. Because when I did need to titrate up, I couldn't because I was stuck with six
Hmm.
months of compound. So I think that when it comes to titration, it really just depends on the individual, right? You have to kind of
Right. It's
assess
a
your
very
own.
individual thing.
Yeah, you gotta assess your own situation. Some people do every 4 weeks and it works out great. Some people go low and slow and it works out great. And then there are a bunch of
Hmm.
people in the middle. So I don't think a wide umbrella needs to be cast necessarily. But I also think 112 pounds is great. So I was trying to figure out like, well, her progress is great. She's already lost more than what people lost in the trials. I think the highest in the trials was
Hmm.
about 20% of body weight, 21%, something like that. She's lost 38% of her body weight. So I didn't really understand why
But
she
in
felt
the
she should have done
last like
something different.
18 months, she's only lost like 14 pounds.
Yes, because she's been on 15 milligram for, she said, a year and 9 months. So she's
Hmm.
been she's been stuck at the, I mean, there's nowhere to go beyond the 15. So maybe she feels like had she gotten to the 15 sooner, she would have gotten closer to her goal, except we don't know what the goal is. So we don't know if she's
Well,
5 pounds
like
within her goal, 20 pounds, we don't know.
I was talking to some other obesity doctors, and they're saying like once you hit that 15, no, you can't go any higher. But there are sometimes some other medications or some other peptides that they could add to it. They may help, speed things along. Again, I'm not an obesity expert, and we didn't really get into what these are, but it does kind of make sense that there may be some other things that you could do.
Yeah, yeah, that would make sense, but I'm not there yet, so I don't know. But if people are stacking and that works for them, hey, why not? But hello, Raquel, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm just listening to this conversation, and it's I've always said to myself, it didn't take me a year to gain all the weight or to be at my heaviest. So I think it's unrealistic to think that it's going to be shed as quickly as a year, or if even less than a year. So
Hmm.
um, if it takes me 2 years, 3 years to get to my goal weight, I'm happy with that. I've not been, I'm not taking anything higher than 5 of Monjoro. My diabetic nurse doesn't feel the need for me to go any higher, as it's working for me. And yes, it has slowed down, but I'm happy if I'm losing a pound or two a week. I really am, and I'll just continue that way. So however long it takes, I'm here for the longevity of it, really.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm a year into my journey.
Absolutely.
I recently just titrated up to the 10. I didn't want to for the longest time, but like I said, I got stuck at the 7.5 because I ordered a 6-month supply of compounds. So I was actually on the 7.5 for about 8 to 9 months, and it was working for me as far as appetite suppression. But I spent maybe 5 months not losing any weight, which wasn't a complete loss because I didn't regain any either. So I
Hmm.
considered that still a success. I was really stubborn about titrating up, but now I'm just at a place where I feel if because I have a lot of weight to lose. I still have about 50 pounds. So for me, I'm just like, if my dose is working, I'll stay on it. If it is no longer working for me, then I'll titrate up. And if I got to go up to the 15, I will. I don't want to, but if it happens, it happens. And I'm not type 2 diabetic, just for the reference point for the people watching. But
Hmm.
If it is
You don't
work,
look like you have that much to lose by
no,
age.
and I think you've hit the nail on the head there, because if it isn't working for you, then sure, look for other options, go up. If it's still working for you, remain on it for as long as you can. I've been on it for 9 months, so I started on the 7th of January. I did the first month in 2.5, and I've just remained on the 5 with very little side effects, which is another thing, really, I think people need to consider as they go up. You may get the side effects, you may not get the side effects, but whatever works for people. So, yeah, whatever works for you.
I want to remind everybody that Raquel's interview comes out tomorrow on my channel. Um, and Vanity, whenever you do get off stage, I want you to put the link to your channel in the comments so that everybody goes over to your channel.
I sure will. Thank you again. I watched our interview and I'm like, oh, this was not as horrible as I thought it was. I thought it was so bad with all of the interruptions and my connection. You did a wonderful job with the editing.
Thank you.
So it
I,
came
I
out really
it
good.
was so much fun. I had to be able to save it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much again for the opportunity. I am gonna hop because I'm editing right now, so I'll go back to
Perfect.
listening.
And
Nice
and
talking
maybe
with
you
you,
and I could do a
Raquel.
live one week.
Sure, sure. Just email me and oh God, I'm all over the place.
Gotcha.
You know how that
All
goes.
right.
And I'll
I
make sure I'm
do.
not at a
I
Starbucks.
follow
I
you.
will make sure. All right. I'll be back in the chat. Nice talking with you, Raquel.
I'll hop off as well, Laurie, because obviously if somebody else wants to join, it's not as scary as I thought it was going to be. But this is a great platform, and how to do a live. I love
Yeah,
this.
hey, like I'm gonna try it. Maybe people see the end of this and say, hey, this can't be, especially like rather than typing back and forth, like, oh well, what, how much doses, how long, just come on for a second. And again, you don't actually have to put your face. You could put your
Yeah,
picture.
totally, totally. There's Terence. He's coming on for
Hi,
1 second.
Terrence.
1 second. You're right. How's it going?
How you doing? Good, good. How's your journey coming along?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, another thing I've noticed as well, I've got a lot more energy. I think since
Mm-hmm.
I've actually got a lot more energy now. It's been great. I mean, like I said, I've lost 19 pounds in 8 weeks. I mean, I'm walking a lot. I'm not really hitting the gym or anything. It's just working long hours and just burning it off. It's but it's a wonder drug. It really is.
It is.
I mean, I'm only on it for 6 months. The diabetic nurse has put me on it for 6 months, and I'm basically hoping that my blood sugar levels have gone down so I can get off the metformin and all the other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that'd be fantastic. So I'm kind
That
of
would be.
looking forward to it. But we're eating a lot more healthier now, and smaller portions.
It's funny how you just crave better food.
Yeah, exactly. And I saw your video the other day about the carbs.
Mm-hmm.
This lady here is a carb hater. but I like my potatoes and chips and all that nonsense. So we're having to kind of compromise and maybe get some parsnips and sweet
There you
potatoes.
go.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, apart from being a support worker, a caregiver, I have been, you know, I've been doing chefing for the last 2 years. So,
Wow.
we're going to have to try and, you know, think of some good ideas.
Yeah.
And
But I love that. You know, it was very short and informative about carbs, the good ones, the bad ones, what are the alternatives. And I think
Hmm.
it makes you think. You think it, because I personally think that carbs do make me put on weight. Whenever I've eaten them, I've piled on the weight. So I think mentally I've got this block, and it's like I don't want carbs. But reviewing what you know, your video, Laurie, it's kind of made me think, actually, Raquel, you do actually need carbs in your diet. So let's think about sweet potatoes, let's think about parsnips, and all those I absolutely love.
and and stuff like
all
that.
the beans.
I mean, you know, I've seen like people like replacing rices with cauliflower and stuff like that. So you know, it's a good booster. You know, an alternative, really.
Thank you.
I mean,
Uh,
a lot of oat milk. I'm drinking a lot of oat milk. Mainly as well to try and lower my cholesterol, because they wanted to put me on statins and this, that, and the other. But I'm really trying, with the help of the Monduro and the appetite suppression, I'm really trying to behave myself, really, you know. So just go on from there, you know. It's I think
vanity is
so vanity. Absolutely, it's okay to have carbs now that we have our blood sugar control on the GLP-1s. And, you know, carbs are an important part. You know, I actually interviewed a dietitian and a nutritionist, and basically they said people are eliminating it, and that's wrong. Lower it, don't totally eliminate it.
and watching your video, I thought, went like that, and I thought, no, I'm thinking about this wrongly. So let's incorporate something on this diet of ours. So yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, really informative.
And when
I
you're
love
saying
them.
also about portion size, you know,
Right.
portion control as well. I think with any diets, I think you eat too much of a plateful. I mean, you know, it's just too much, you know. And
And Calamity Jane, who just had a birthday recently, so if you haven't wished her a happy birthday, happy belated. It's choosing the right carbs. Our brain needs the carbs.
So
And Vanity's saying it's moderation, of course.
it's all
You know,
it's
like everything.
in your brain again to think differently, isn't it? Because for
Right.
you've thought one way, and now it's about educating. Think left instead of right, basically. But let me pop off.
Absolutely. Okay.
Everybody's not going to get a chance. Thank you again. And I'll
No problem.
Thank you.
Thanks. So, again, moderation. This is a lifestyle. If we want to stay on this forever, nothing should be 100% off limits. You can't go your whole life without carbs. So, moderation, pick the right carbs, pick the right times for the carbs. You know, you don't have to have a lot of carbs every day, but, you know, once in a while, you know, you did, and your body gets used to everything that you're eating. So, you know, it's called metabolic adaptation. So you need to change things up a little bit so that your body doesn't get used to the same things. Otherwise, that's going to stop you from losing weight. Calamity Jane says there's a good article about barley that came out this week about how it stimulates GLP-1 peptides. They're apparently studying different whole grains. That's great because, again, we need this kind of stuff. It's a lifestyle, and you shouldn't skip a whole food group. Moderation. So, Yvette, Millicent, hopefully I said that right. This is truly one of my favorite channels. Thank you. I like seeing the people that I follow. Another light when the interview. I'm just having a hard time reading. I'm sorry. It's like seeing people that I follow in other light when you interview them. Many are new to me, and I start following them. Zepbound is amazing. So thank you very much. I agree with you. And any of you content creators, uh, it does help your channels, these interviews. I know my friend Ali, when he did his interview, I think he got like 10 subscribers. Um, and, you know, it helps. And, you're seen to a whole different group of people. And, they start following you, you get more watch time hours and so forth. So it does help. Um, Anything else? Anybody else want to pop up here before we kind of wrap this up for the day? There's still 10 people in here. Please make sure you hit that like and share button, comment, watch the replay. The replay is really, for some reason, YouTube counts those hours more than actually when you're in here. Even if you just put it on your phone and mute it, just let it play. It really does help. Hit that like button on there when I put this out. Again, it really does help. I want to thank everybody for joining me on my wife's birthday. Happy birthday, Carol. I would sing, but then I would lose every single viewer that I have. I promise you. Uh, I'll join quick. Only 9 weeks on Zepbound. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And again, happy birthday to my wife. That's one reason why I'm doing this early, so that I could spend most of the day with her. So thank you, everybody. It's been fun. Uh, I think I will try this little style again. Not too many people want to jump on, but we could do like vanity. If you don't want your face to be shown, have it your profile picture. Um, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.